What's up, Misfits? This is Long Island Josh here with Lady Ashrose, and we're here to discuss tonight's edition of Smackdown that came from Des Moines, Iowa. Ash, what'd you think of tonight's show?
I really liked it. I mean, I feel like SmackDown is a lot different than Raw, like from what I've been watching. There's not quite as much like extra drama and stuff, and there's quite a bit more of the fights, which I like. So I really enjoyed tonight's show. Some of it was a little meh, but some of the main events that we're going to talk about were decent.
Yeah, I think we'll start probably with what was probably the most important match in that, or segment. It started off with Randy Orton took on Eric Rowan in no disqualification match, because this Sunday Randy will go against not Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt in a
House of Horrors
House of
match.
Horrors match. Yeah. So if you weren't aware, Eric Rowan is one of like the disciples of Bray Wyatt. So even though on different shows, the storyline's still continuing. And I thought the match was all right because it was a lot of heavy brawling to begin with. There was that crazy table spot that I didn't care for that much. But what did you think of that?
I actually kind of enjoyed like the little props that they were using, like because not used to seeing that in
Right.
the short time I've been watching wrestling. So, like when Rowan started beating Orton with the stick, I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. But I like how Orton kind of turned the table on him, literally. Uh, when Rowan tried to suplex him onto the table, Orton's like, nope. And then starts hitting him with the stick until Rowan falls onto the table. And I was like, okay, this is good.
So they had like I said, I think they had a good match. Ultimately, it ended with Rowan was setting up a chair in the
Chair, yeah.
corner. So he's gonna Irish whip Randy into it, but as Randy goes to it, he stops himself, and then Rowan comes running behind. Randy gets out of the way, so Rowan throws himself into the chair, and that lets Randy hit him with an RKO for the win. And
RKO
then,
out of nowhere.
so then after that, Orton gets a mic and he starts cutting a promo on Bray about this Sunday's match coming up. And leading up to the match, with that promo, what'd you think?
I thought that the match did, the promo justice in that, Orton took out Eric Rowan, which is, one of the Wyatt guys or whatever.
Mhm.
And, so Wyatt's probably going to be like even more pissed off about it. And I thought that it, did it justice and, leading up to it so that everyone's like looking forward to this House of Horrors match now because Orton just beat Eric Rowan.
So after that, this is where I guess it gets a little interesting because Jinder Mahal comes out and he's in I don't know, it wouldn't be like traditional Punjabi, but he's wearing the hat thing, and I don't know what it's called, but I
Don't
kind of
ask
like
me.
I like how he's different from all the other foreign heels. At least they're really showing his culture, and some people feel it's a little they're not happy that Ginger's getting this push, but I'm up to it. I like that after this superstar shakeup that at least we're getting new storylines. Some characters are getting pushed, and Ginger's like the perfect example on SmackDown that now all of a sudden he's the number one contender and he's mad because Orton isn't showing him respect by looking past him because they do have a future matchup, and Jinder gets into Randy's face, and I don't like how when that happened, Randy kind of beat up Jinder right away. And if it wasn't for the Bollywood boys who came out again to help Jinder, Orton probably would have just kicked his ass.
I mean, gender, I feel like I don't really like gender. So, I mean, I like what you're saying about like, them bringing out his culture and stuff, even though there's like tons of controversy there, which, WWE's doing it right by using that controversy to just add on to his, him being a heel. But I don't really like his attitude, like that he just thinks he's, I don't know, just like better than everybody else. Like clearly Randy Orton is a good competitor, but yeah, I mean the Bollywood boys came in and helped him out, which honestly, that's the reason why he's the number one contender because he was helped by them the last time, too.
And I think when this match happens between Orton and Jinder, I think ultimately what's going to happen is Jinder's going to win the WWE Championship because of the Bollywood Boys, and I'm thinking that that's probably going to go on for a few months. That Jinder will not be a champion that deserves to hold it. If it wasn't for constantly getting helped by the Bollywood Boys, like he'd probably lose. So I feel like this is just the next several months. That's what we have to look forward to.
I mean, he is a heel and he's doing the classic stuff that goes with it, with the cheating and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that we do have that to look forward to. But I do want to mention how he drove away with Randy Orton's championship belt.
Yeah, at first he took it and he was going up the ramp, and they're like, "Oh, that's not his belt. He's stealing it." And I don't know if they went to commercial and came back, and the Bollywood Boys are jumping into a stretch, not a Hummer limousine, but one of the higher up SUV types. And then Jinder pops his head up. He's got the belt. He's screaming in Punjabi, and then the limo just drives off.
That was kind of funny though.
So I think that's like the main part of the show. That's the main storyline. Even though it was kind of in the middle of the show, that's probably the most important takeaway from SmackDown. Um, the main event for tonight was actually the women's title match, and this is kind of a big deal because this doesn't happen a lot in wrestling. The past few years, there's kind of this Divas revolution where they try to push women more, give them the respect that they deserve. So this, I guess they kind of downplayed it, but for fans who've been watching, like, it was kind of a big deal that SmackDown's main event was the women's title match. So Naomi defended her title against Charlotte. I thought this was a good match until the ending. What were your thoughts?
I'm right there with you. I was watching it and I was really enjoying how neither woman was like either dominating the match really. Like Charlotte was doing really well and Naomi was doing really well. It was kind of like a nail biter because you're like, okay, they're both doing really well. Who's gonna win? But I kind of expected what happened to happen because I think I called it last week. I thought they were going to come out and do that.
Yeah, because in tonight's match, I didn't know who was going to win. So, and I didn't think about what you had mentioned last week, that clearly all those upset women are going to come in and cost them the match. So that's what happened this time. And I guess now they have a name. They're called the Welcoming Committee. So that's Natalia, Tamina, Carmella, and James Ellsworth. So I don't think James actually attacked any of the other two women, but he's in that little clique.
He's kind of like the Maurice.
I wonder what this is going to mean for the women's division, because I think Charlotte, if given a rematch and no one interferes, I think she beats Naomi. But now, what's the goal here? Anytime that any of these three women in the Welcome Committee are in a match, like, they're just going to run in?
Yeah, they're just going to be upset with it and just interrupt the match, because how's that going to play out?
So, it's a little interesting to see where that's going to play out. But I was kind of hoping to see a real finish in tonight's match, so a little upset that I didn't get a decisive who's better between Naomi and Charlotte. Another part that was a little anticlimactic to me was the beginning of SmackDown, because it opened up with Shinsuke Nakamura making his entrance, and they had a lot of pop and circumstance and everything. Like, they're really pushing him, and Renee Young was in the center of the ring, and she was going to interview him. But right before she can interview him, Dolph Ziggler's music hits, he comes out, and he gets in the ring, and he just insults Shinsuke Nakamura with this long promo, basically saying that you're Michael Jackson, and then you went to Japan and became Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, it didn't make sense. If you know that in real life Shinsuke Nakamura is heavily influenced by Michael Jackson, yeah, but I was like, if I'm an 8-year-old kid, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know who Michael Jackson is. I don't know the Jackson 5. He's name-dropping all just this weird history for a show that's targeted to much younger people. And when Shinsuke could finally get the mic back and respond to Ziggler, Shinsuke doesn't speak perfect English, but I feel like he was playing up his accent, and this is probably one of the things that a lot of fans were worried about, that Vince McMahon doesn't know what to do with Shinsuke because he never watched him in New Japan. He's not familiar with how to use a talent that's very good and with body language, but can't communicate well in promos. So I feel like he's just like, make him stereotypical Asian, because he's like, what's your problem? And I don't think that's really how he would say it. So I'm a little worried about Nakamura, because I thought that, you had him. I thought they would have not opened the show with this. I thought they would have made a bigger deal. He should be wrestling, destroying people. You should be seeing his Shinkaza knee strike. I'm a little worried.
They're building the anticipation, Josh. That's what they're doing.
I don't have time for that.
I feel ya. I was frustrated too. I just want to watch him fight. But that's what they're doing. They're building up that anticipation, getting people ready for his actual first fight.
I hope we'll get an official match on SmackDown. It doesn't have to be against Ziggler, but I'd like to see him have a one-on-one so he can show the people who aren't really familiar with him what he can do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. And then, yeah, after that, another match that I kind of thought, I mean, I like both these guys, and I thought it should have been a little bit more played up than what it was, but, it was kind of just meh with AJ Styles and Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I was really excited when the commercial break right before this match happened. I was really looking forward to this match, but then something didn't really click. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get out of first gear with it. There's nothing wrong with it. These two are very good. AJ is one of my favorite wrestlers, and Baron Corbin has improved a lot over the past few years, but just felt like something was missing. So, just jumping to the end, Kevin Owens was there doing commentary. He's the current U.S. champion, and now that Randy is kind of doing his own thing with Bray, but also doing his thing with Jinder, they're pushing the U.S. title as a very important thing. So at the end of the match, Owens attacks AJ because AJ won, and AJ's a legitimate threat to the U.S. Champion. So he goes to attack him, and Baron Corbin being a good heel joins in, because why not?
Well, why not? The other man's down. Go in.
Exactly. So then Sami Zayn comes out running for the save, but he ends up just also getting beat down.
Yeah, I mean, I like Sami Zayn too, so I was a little I'm glad he came in for the save or whatever, but yeah, that bit was actually more interesting to me than the actual AJ Styles and Baron Corbin fight, the whole bit at the end. And I hate Kevin Owens so much. Here are my sentiments about Kevin Owens. I really do. I feel like he's that fat fuck at Thanksgiving that had too much to eat and is just breathing super heavy on his way to the couch.
Every family's got one of them. You gotta love him regardless.
But that's what I think of him. I just can't stand him. He irritates me. And the whole Canadian spiel that he's got going on. Which, nothing against Canadians, but...
But, so I'm thinking next week they'll probably do a tag match, because it'll probably be AJ and Sami Zayn will take on Baron and Kevin Owens. And if I had to guess the ending, it'd be Kevin Owens will bail on Baron and then somehow sneak attack whoever wins that match.
I feel like that's a pretty decent prediction, Josh.
Another part of the show was that they had a tag team beat the clock tournament to name a number one contender for the Usos tag team championship. Now, the way that they did this is they had 4 teams participate in 2 different matches. So, who was it? It was...
American Alpha versus the Colognes was the first fight.
Right, so that one ended in 5 minutes, 17 seconds. American Alpha hit the Grand Amplitude on Epico, so they technically advance. At least now they have to... Now it comes down to the second match, which was
Breezango?
I thought they were going to do one... Yeah, but I thought they were going to do one match then the other. Instead, they broke it up. They put a half hour in between.
Yeah, which kind of ruined it for me. I feel like it should have been one match and then the other. But yeah, it was okay.
The team was... They took... The second match was the Ascension and Breezango, but I always thought that Breezango was called the Hot Cops, or another name that they had was the Fashion Police. So I wonder if SmackDown's aware of their other gimmicks.
Yeah,
This match was much shorter. I don't know what the exact time was, but I
It
know
was
that
2 minutes and 36 seconds.
that's a ridiculously short match. But since they since Fandango won hitting a Falcon Arrow on Connor, he did it in less than 5 minutes 17 seconds. Breezango wins against the time that was set, so they're now the number one contenders for the Usos tag team championship. So I don't know. It's kind of weird because Breezango were heels up until I guess a week or two ago, and the Usos are definitely heels. So I'm wondering when the match actually happens, will it be enough time for the audience to cheer Breezango? Because you don't really want to have any type of match where it's two heels against each other because the fans don't know who they're supposed to cheer for.
Yeah, I kind of feel that confusion being a new person to wrestling. I feel
Mhm.
that confusion. I'm not really like sure which one I should like.
Well, I guess the commentary will probably have to push like, "Oh, Breezango, they're good guys. They're fun. They love it." Yeah, to me, this SmackDown kind of felt like a lot of filler. I guess they're in a rebuilding mode, but I guess maybe I was spoiled that I guess the past few weeks or months, SmackDown has been very good, but with the shakeup, there's a lot of new talent, and it's affecting the show more than it has Raw. Right, so as we come to the end over here, did you like the show? You know, looking back 2 hours of your time, was it worth it?
Oh, sure. I mean, 2 hours is obviously less than three, so it's easier to judge against Raw. But I mean, I liked the show, but I'm more into Raw right now, like with what's going on.
Traditionally, I'm more into SmackDown, but this week definitely Raw was a better show, even though it was longer. But I can't complain. I did enjoy tonight's SmackDown overall. Yeah, just a reminder for all the fans, if for some reason you're not aware, WWE Payback is this Sunday, and the best way to watch is the WWE Network, which is $9.99, and this will be the first month that I actually pay for it because I bought it last month when it was free for Mania. So I'm gonna have that little opinion: is now, was this show worth my time and the price point, which it probably is, but it is what it is. So, Misfits, we hope you enjoyed tonight's review of SmackDown. If you did, please hit that like button. Press subscribe to get more videos like this and our gaming stuff. And as always, please do leave a comment.
Thanks for joining us and have a great night.